What's going on, YouTube? Coming at you live with the Beast Mastery Hunter PvP guide for patch 9.0.5. Been really excited to make this guide for you guys with the recent growth and popularity of Beast Mastery Hunter in the arena ladders. We even saw it represented in the Arena World Championship, so hopefully by the end of this video you guys get to take a thing or two away. Hopefully, get ready to push all that rating and just become a better hunter, really. So we're going to be talking about everything in this guide: talents, PvP talents, covenants, conduits, stat priorities, legendaries, macros, pet choices, arena compositions. We're doing it all, so it's going to be a long video. I'm going to try to be as thorough as possible. Feel free to leave any comments with questions down below. I'll even leave my Discord in the description box below, so you guys can reach out to me if you have any questions, hunter related, maybe even composition related. Suggestions would be great too. Hopefully, get you guys the information you guys need, get you guys some good content. And yeah, let's get into it. It's going to be a long video, like I said, so kick back, maybe get you a notepad, maybe get you something to eat. I'll leave timestamps down below if you guys want to skip around to certain parts. And like I said, hopefully you guys get to take a thing or two away from this video. And yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so let's start off with talents here. If you're interested in just copy pasting this, the talents are here. But like I said, I'm going to be going over everything, so yeah, let's get into it. So for the first row, for the level 15 talents, you have Killer Instinct, Animal Companion, and Dire Beast. The clear choice here is Animal Companion. What this does is it lets you have another pet. It doesn't have to be from your stable, it could be just from the ones you carry in your call pet. Lets you carry another pet, and that pet will only do 3 abilities. I know it's a little misleading there, but it's actually 3 abilities. It'll follow your kill command, which is roughly 5% of your damage, so you're getting an extra 5%. It's following your auto attacks, so that pet will also be auto attacking. And it'll also be following, we'll get into it with the Stomp talent, but it'll actually be casting Stomp as well when you barb shot. Each of those are roughly 5. I know auto attacks can sometimes be up to 10%, but in total you're getting about maybe 20% extra damage just from this one talent, where auto attacks would be 10% and Stomp would be 5% and kill command would be 5%. So it's just really good just to get 20% extra damage across the board just from one talent. So definitely the strongest choice here is Animal Companion. Killer Instinct is more of a PvE talent where you're fighting raid bosses and you have them under 35% for a long time, so you really get to take advantage of kill command, doing extra damage. But in PvP, you're just going to be pressing kill shot, and then they'll just be dead, or they'll get burst healed up past 35%, so this kind of falls off heavily. And Dire Beast is just so insignificant, it's not even worth looking at. It's a 8-second uptime every 20 seconds, so not nearly enough. This is just great sustain here. So Animal Companion for sure. For your 25 tree, you have Scent of Blood, One with the Pack, and Chimera Shot. The one to go here is Chimera Shot, so you're left with Scent of Blood and One with the Pack. One with the Pack could be ideal later in the expansion when gear gives more critical strike chance, and you have a higher chance of just having Wild Call reset your barb shot. But the way it stands right now, Scent of Blood is just really good for throughput, and it lets you really keep those stacks of Frenzy up because you always want 3 stacks of barb shot up, so your pet is attacking with more attack speed. So definitely Scent of Blood gives you a little burst window, but mainly just for sustain, lets you keep 3 stacks up as long as possible, and that's really the main playstyle here that you want. You want 3 stacks of uptime with barb shot as much as possible, so Scent of Blood here. For the 30 tree, we have Trailblazer, Natural Mending, and Camouflage. The one to go is Trailblazer. That's completely useless in PvP, in arenas at least, and you're left with Natural Mending and Camouflage. Most of the time here you want Camouflage just so that you're stealth in the start of the game. It comes in handy later too if you ever have to reset, like you're playing jungle or you're playing 2s with the rogue or with the feral even. It's good for resets in that manner, and then it's also good just out of the gates. You're coming out in stealth, so if you want to go for a trap immediately in the start of the game, you can do that. And then one really important thing it's good for is if your pet dies, if the enemies in the arena kill your pet, now you can feign death and then camouflage because you've dropped combat, and then revive your pet in stealth. So that can come in really clutch. So camouflage is almost always a choice. You can take Natural Mending if you're not playing with the stealthy, and you know, you don't really have purpose to be in stealth out of the gates, but camouflage is just so good, just for the fact that you can come in clutch and revive your pet. So I'd go camouflage here. For the 35 tree, we have Spitting Cobra, Thrill of the Hunt, and Murder of Crows. Spitting Cobra is definitely the one to go. Does practically no damage, even after they buffed it a couple 100%. It's just terrible. You're left with Thrill of the Hunt and Murder of Crows. I see a lot of hunters running Murder of Crows, and that's okay if you're just starting out to playing hunter and you're kind of new to it, and you're not so good at keeping up your stacks of barb shot. But you almost always want Thrill of the Hunt here. Like I said, if you're new and you know you're having trouble keeping up 3 stacks of barb shot, or even 2 for that matter, then sure, you can run Murder of Crows just because, you know, it's one button and it lets you do damage over those 15 seconds, but I'd really look towards getting better with Thrill of the Hunt and keeping up your stacks, because when you keep barb shot stacks up, it says here, sends your pet into a frenzy, attack speed by 30% for 3 times, stacking up to 3 times. So in addition to getting 90% attack speed for your pet, you'll also be getting 9% critical strike chance, and you really get to take advantage of this the better you get at keeping up your barb shot stacks, which is why Sentinel Blood is so good, because now every time you're ready to do damage, you can put in 1 or 2 barb shots, how many ever you have, press kill command, press Bestial Wrath, and now you have 2 more, and now you have 9% critical strike for your entire burst window, on top of having 9% critical strike chance anytime you have 3 stacks of uptime, which you should always be aiming to do. So definitely, like I said, just to reiterate, if you're new, you can play Murder of Crows, but look to get better with keeping up barb shot uptime for your pet frenzy and for Thrill of the Hunt. For your 40 tree, you have Born to be Wild, Post Haste, and Binding Shot. The one to go here is Born to be Wild. This is entirely useless. 20% isn't nearly enough cooldown reduction. So you're left with Post Haste and Binding Shot. Generally, you want Post Haste. This is just so good. It's just so solid because you're pressing Disengage every time it's off cooldown, really. And this not only does it give you a movement speed for 4 seconds, which can help you land traps or kite away from, you know, enemy burst, or just maybe if you're LOS with your healer, you know, get in line. Like if you're in the sewers and you get the water to come down and you got to disengage, speed boost can help you, you know, get back in line of sight of your healer. This is also good because it frees you from movement impairing effects, which is really nice. Like if you get rooted and you don't have post haste, if you have binding shot, now you can't disengage out of that root. You'd actually have to feign death the root off and then disengage just to gain distance. Or, you know, same applies to a slow, like if Windwalker or Warrior's on you and you get slowed, you can disengage, but if you don't have post haste, it's not going to free you from that root or that slow. Binding shot has its purposes. It's really good against double melee if you're playing threes. So like Warrior, Shaman, or Turbo, Warrior Ret, or even Windwalker DK. This is good for that purpose. This is also good if you're playing like twos, or even if you're playing into threes into a hunter. If you're playing into another hunter, this is good because you get to root their pets. Same thing with Windwalkers, anything pet based, so Demonology Warlocks, Windwalker Monks, you get to root all the clones and everything. So this can come in handy for those, but anytime you're not playing against double melee or a lot of pets, you definitely want post haste, just really strong throughput. For the 45 tree, we have Stomp, Barrage, and Stampede. This is a no-brainer. You definitely go Stomp here. When you cast Barb Shot, your pets are going to be AoEing. Barb Shot is just like your main go-to here. You're going to be spamming Barb Shot to keep up stacks as much as possible, so it's really good. And then your second pet actually also follows Stomp 2, so you're getting an extra 5% damage just from that pet as well, on top of your main pet too. So this is just really good, 10% damage just from one talent. Barrage just costs too much focus, and Stampede is just too long of a cooldown to be worth it. So definitely go Stomp here. One thing to note about Stomp though is if you go for a freezing trap on like a healer, and now you want to kill the target and they're stacking on the healer, or they're just in the vicinity of the healer, you have to be very careful not to press Barb Shot, which can throw your damage off, but I mean, it's a pet-based spec, so it is what it is. Just be mindful not to press Barb Shot when your pets are near a target that's frozen, or polymorphed, or sapped, or blinded, or any CC that just breaks with damage, like Blinding Light too. anything that breaks with damage, just don't press barb shot when your pets are near that target as well. So sometimes they'll be stacking and it sucks, but you can't press barb shot. But it is what it is. You just gotta go with kill command and cobra shot at that point. So just be mindful of that. For the last trait, we have Aspect of the Beast, Killer Cobra, and Bloodshed. The clear choice here is Aspect of the Beast. Increases the damage and healing of your pet's abilities by 30%. It also gives your pet's passive based on its specialization an extra boost. So in my case, my pet is Cunning, so it has movement speed here. So normally this is 8%, but being that it gives you 50% boost, it'll actually be 12%. So that's really handy. It comes in handy for kiting. And not to mention the 30% damage as well. So just really good talent all around. Just really strong. Can't go wrong with this. And yeah, so we have Animal Companion, Scent of Blood, Camouflage, Thrill of the Hunt, so that you can keep 3 stacks up all the time of 9% critical strike chance, Post Haste, Stomp, Aspect of the Beast. Now for PvP talents, you actually have a lot of choices, thankfully. 2 that are usually always being used are Roar of Sacrifice and Survival Tactics. Roar of Sacrifice makes you or the target you cast Roar of Sacrifice on immune to critical strikes, which is really good in this bursty meta. So against fire mages, rep paladins, elemental shamans, even boomkins, honestly, this is just so good just to stop them from being critical strike. Multi-purpose, you can use it like I said, if a mage pops Combust, their damage is very reluctant on critical strike chances. Now you just shut all of that down just by pressing one button, so really good to have. It's also good if you're low health and a warrior's on you, now you know he's going to be spamming execute on you, so you can just Roar of Sacrifice and none of those will be critting. Hopefully you can stay alive with this, but definitely increases your durability against those bursty specs. So really good to have, and it's great because you can also use it on someone else. So you can use it on your party members who are being trained, or if they're just getting hit with everything, the kitchen sink and everything, you can just use this on them. And yeah, one thing to note though is your pet actually takes 20% of the damage. So normally it's not really an issue, but I feel like now there's so much burst that even if it's taking just 20% of your damage, it sounds crazy because it has almost 30,000 health. So I'd have to actually take 150k worth of damage in 12 seconds, but it's very possible, especially in 3s. So one thing to be mindful of, and maybe even get in the habit of doing like myself, is as soon as I press Roar of Sacrifice, I actually press Mend Pet. As soon as I press Roar of Sacrifice, I press Mend Pet. Just to, make sure your pet stays alive, because if your pet dies, you're in deep waters there. All of your damage gets shut down, so just good, just something to note. Just Mend Pet, try to get in a habit. As soon as you Roar of Sacrifice, press Mend Pet. And then secondly, the one I find myself running a lot is Survival Tactics. I know it seems kind of useless because our legendary kind of does the same thing to a greater effect, but you don't really run this for the Dispel here. You mainly run this one for the damage reduction for 1.5 seconds. Global cooldown is 1.5 seconds, so this is really good, literally to stop you from getting global. I'm not exaggerating or being sarcastic, I mean literally 1.5 second global, and it reduces the damage you take by 90% for 1.5 seconds, so it's literally the length of a global, exactly verbatim. So it's really good, if you're getting trained, you see Wings, you see Seraphim, you see Windwalker popping everything, Zwen and everything. You see a Fire Mage press Combust, you see a Rogue press Shadow Dance or Vendetta. This is really good. You just, boom, Feign Death's on a 15-second cooldown. And, if your healer's in the last second of CC or he got kicked or something, just really makes you durable, because Hunters don't really have much defensive cooldowns. We just got, Turtle and Heal. So this is really good. Just every 15 seconds you get to get a shell that, protects you for 90% of damage. So this is really good just to stop you from getting globaled in this very bursty meta. So these two I find myself running very, very often. And then third talent is, your third slot's really multi-purpose. There's a lot of options here. I'll go over all of them briefly. This is really good if you're playing 3s, for the same reason Binding Shot is, because you have to be within 8 yards. So this is really good against if you're playing with a melee into double melee. So if you're playing Cupid, for example, or jungle, where it's, you know, you're the hunter and you have either a ret or a feral, and you're playing against Turbo, which is enhancement shaman, or warrior, where you're playing into you know, TSG, which is warrior DK, anything you're playing into that's double melee. This is really good for when they're hitting you, that your pets will be following them, and in essence being 8 yards, giving you 10% damage reduction. Or if they're hitting your partner, your feral, or your ret, they'll be hitting your partner, and your pets will be hitting them, in essence being 8 yards within them. So this is really good for that purpose. But if you're playing into like double caster, or even caster melee, I wouldn't really recommend running this. Trying to think of any other situation that I'd really run this. You can also run this into hunters in 2s. This is kind of, you know, throws them off, where you get to stack on them, and if they don't have this and you do, now you're, you know, automatically up 10% in theory. So this is really good to playing into hunters in 2v2 as well. It kind of catches them off guard if you just stack on them. Let's see. And then I also find myself running Spider Sting a lot with the popularity of casters, especially in 3s. This is really good. It's blanket silence, so you put this on them and it puts a dot on them, and if they cast an offensive spell in those 4 seconds, it'll silence them for 4 seconds. Keep in mind this can be dispelled, but you know, if you're playing with you know, something, which most classes, you know, there's something more important to dispel than this, whether it's mind games or fear or a Hodge or a root. You know, sometimes there's, you know, you can catch them off guard when they don't have dispel. And actually not every class can dispel this, being that it is a poison, so something to keep in mind as well. This is really good just to peel off DPS, like, you know, if a mage pops Combust and you Roar of Sacrifice and you still feel like he's hitting way too hard, you can blanket silence him too, because everything is instant cast. You won't actually be able to counter shot him, so this is a good alternative. Also against, you know, any caster really, locks, Shadow Priests, mages. I've actually tested this as well. If you're playing a Boomkin and I know a lot of Boomkins are switching Kyrian, but if they're still Night Fae, if you're fighting a Night Fae Boomkin and he or she convokes, if you press this during their convoke, if you Spider Sting them during their convoke, it'll actually not wait until convoke is over and count for the next spell. It'll actually count for the next spell that's casted within convoke, which is like every quarter second or every half a second they're casting a spell, something like that. I think it's quarter second. So now if your kick's not not up, it's on cooldown, and you know you told your team that you'd stop the convoke because you're playing with a melee or whatever the situation is, you can actually put this on the Boomkin if you're fast enough, and it'll kick his next spell, which is the next quarter second or next half a second, and that's it. You know, so it can come in clutch with that too. Just good to have. This is really good playing into Holy Priests as well, because they're always casting Smite and Holy Fire to reduce their cooldowns on their major healing spells. So that's handy too. I run High Explosive Trap as well on Z-axis maps, so that's Blade's Edge Arena mainly. Just nice to have. Even Sewers too. Sewers is really good for this too, because you know, if you have a macro, like I'll show you guys later, just quickly throw one of these down, and they go flying off, and then, you know, you send them a concussive shot as well while they're flying off, or even while they're down there. Now, you know, they're slowed, they gotta wrap all the way around. Sometimes I'll play this against Restoration Shamans in 3s as well. I know it's not completely, you know, you can get away with not playing this against Restoration Shamans, but I like to have it just for when they Spirit Link, just knock everyone right out. I know my melee sometimes find it obnoxious, but, you know, it's nice to have against Spirit Link. Keep in mind, this is all for the 3rd slot as well. These two, you know, usually don't change, so Spider Sting, High Explosive Trap, Wild Protector. I've messed around with Viper Sting a little in 2v2. I haven't found much purpose for it in 3s, but in 2s, it's nice against Holy Priests, because if you stun trap them, out of that trap, they're usually looking to press Serenity. Like if you stun trap them and now you pop all your cooldowns and you're going on their DPS, as soon as they come out of that trap, they're looking to Holy Word Serenity. That's the bind they're looking for, you know what I mean? Holy Word Serenity, and that's an instant cast heal that's healing for 20, 25, sometimes even 30k can crit for, so it's really good if you can catch that off guard and make that do 30% less healing, and then dampening stacking as well, and then you got mortal wounds on the target as well with your pet, so keep in mind, you know, something to keep in mind. You can run. You might sometimes catch them just off guard just because they're not used to it, so that's good to know. One thing to note though, actually, I don't run any of these against Shadow Play, which is Restoration Druid, Shadow Priest, Affliction Warlock. With those, I actually have a specific set of talents just for that, PvP talents just for that comp, where I run Beast Within just because they have spammable fears with the Warlock and then Psychic Scream with the Shadow Priest. So I run Beast Within to stop the fears. I run Dragon Scale Armor just because all of their damage is dot based, and I know Feign Deathing it takes it off, but just really helps out your healer when you know, you're taking less damage all across the board. So that, and then I run Spider Sting as well just to stop mind games or unstable afflictions. Just, you know, give my team the best chance of survival. So I run with that comp. I run Beast Within, Dragon Scale Armor, Spider Sting. Again, that's only against Shadow Priest, Affliction Warlock, and Resto Druid when they're all three together, which is a popular comp, so just thought I'd throw that out there. But yeah, that's about it for talents and PvP talents. Let's move on. As far as covenants are concerned, there's one that's a step above the rest, and that's actually Ventier for Beast Mastery Hunters. The reason you want Ventier is because you get Flayed Shot for being Ventier. And what Flayed Shot is it puts a dot on the target, and each time the dot does damage, you have a 15% chance to get a Flare's Mark, which lets your kill shot be usable on any target regardless of their health, and it does some extra damage. So this is really good for that BM Hunter throughput for when your cooldowns aren't up, and you just, you know, you have Flayed Shot up and you're getting 1, 2, 3, sometimes even 4 kill shots per Flayed Shot. You know, it just lets you keep up that damage, you know, no focus. It resets the cooldown. It does 25% increased damage. Just really beefy. So really good for that throughput when your cooldowns aren't up. Just, you know, step above the rest. Definitely better than Kyrian, Necrolord, and Night Fae. In addition to Flayed Shot, we actually get Door of Shadows too, which is kind of a sort of a teleport really. So kind of use it here. I'm surprised it didn't face me the other way, but get to use it there on a 1 minute cooldown. So you won't be casting this too much, but it can come in handy sometimes if you need to go in for a trap or if you need to pull back, you know, to get out of a sticky situation. So it's just good for that. So being Ventier for Soulbinds, you want Nadija. Nadija is just best option here for 2 reasons. For one, she gives us Thrill Seeker, which is haste buff every 80 seconds we're in combat. It's 1 stack per 2 seconds, and 40 stacks is the haste buff. Gives 20% haste for 10 seconds after those, you know, stacks build up. And this is really good, just all across the board. Haste reduces global cooldown, increases focus regeneration. We'll get into it later, but it actually makes your Flayed Shot tick more times during the duration of its dot, thus giving you more kill shot procs. We'll get into that, but just really good. And in addition to the 20% haste, we actually run Infragreen Reflex Sight. I'll also get into that too, just touching on it briefly, which is a chance to give you haste when your auto shots land. So, you know, just tons of extra haste, reduce some global cooldowns, lets you reduces the cooldown of Barb Shot as well, scales with haste, so just really lets you keep up that uptime with those frenzy stacks. And then we run left side of the tree here. You know, we want Empowered Release, which gives us additional Flayed Shot chance, and it increases the damage as well. So it's actually a 15 plus 6. It's actually a 21% chance every time Flayed Shot takes damage to give you a kill shot, and increases the damage of your next kill command by 6.5 plus 25, 31.5%. Obviously that scales with item level. It's kind of average. I'm assuming people probably have 184, being that the world boss drops 200, so definitely good. Run left side for Agent of Chaos as well. This is so when you Door of Shadows, it actually disorients. I know it says 6 seconds, but in PvP it's more like 2. Keep in mind, disorients aren't on the same diminishing returns as traps, So this is kind of good for landing traps. Not 100% reliable, but you know, sometimes you just don't have any way to land CC. So this whole circle here, and then now you've landed and you get the freezing trap on them. So you just gave them 10 seconds of CC, and then you know you can pet stun off. So it's good for that. Sorry, there we go. So good for that. For finesse conduit for this slot, you can personal preference. I like tactical retreat just because you're disengaging every 20 seconds every time it's off cooldown. So I really like, you know, the use you get out of this. Just every 20 seconds you get to slow them for 3 seconds. As far as endurance conduits are concerned, I know a lot, like almost every hunter I know runs Resilience of the Hunter. That's okay if you're playing a lot of 3s, you know, but for 2s, even for 3s, honestly, I really like Marksman Advantage, where it gives Hunter's Mark a purpose. It decreases the damage the target deals to you by 5%. And I'm sure, you know, you can kind of just look at them and see why I find it so much better. Because, you know, Hunter's Mark is 1 global, and now they're doing 5% less damage to you for a long time. I think it's like 30 seconds. You know, you just throw on Hunter's Mark every 30 seconds, now you're doing 5% less damage. If you're in 2s, you know, you're healer DPS fighting healer DPS. Now the DPS is doing 5% less damage to you, which, you know, kind of really gives you an advantage over them. Whereas Resilience of the Hunter, it's just 6.2% reduced damage, and that's a 200 item level conduit too. This one's kind of hard to come by. So, you know, 6.2% reduced damage for 8 seconds. That's almost like half uptime, and that's if you're pressing Feign Death on cooldown. But you're getting, with this Marksman Advantage, you're getting 5% reduced damage, 100% uptime almost, really, if not like 90% uptime. Once you get used to, you know, putting on Hunter's Mark with the global, you get used to it. So just 1 global, 5% reduced damage, you know, just adds to your, you know, survivability, just makes you a bit more tanky. So definitely a go-to in 2v2. For 3v3, it's more, you know, debatable what you want, because, you know, if you're not the target, you know, and they just kind of swap to you, you're not ready for it, you don't have Marksman Advantage, you know, you don't have Hunter's Mark on them, so it can get tricky with that, in that manner. And I know this might cause some controversy. I actually run Familiar Predicaments. I don't run Dauntless Duelist here, which I know a lot of people do. The reason I run Familiar Predicaments is so that I can get a second potency conduit, and the reason I want a second potency conduit is so I can run Bloodletting. Bloodletting, in my opinion, is like make or break here. It's like absolutely make or break, so much better than 3% more damage, because with Bloodletting, even if it's a low item level conduit, we're just here for the first half, it reduces the recharge time of Barb Shot by 1 second. So this really, really helps you keep up those Barb Shot Frenzy stacks, you know, 1, 2, it lets you keep up those 3 stacks, you know, just anything to help, you know. We're not talking Wild Call with the critical strike chances, we're just talking straight throughput where you get 1 second cut off of its recharge time in addition to haste. You can see I have it down to 9.7 here with 8 seconds uptime. Just, you know, just really helps you keep those stacks up. And to me, those stacks where your pet is doing, you know, 30, 60, 90% more, you know, attacking 90% more faster, is much more potent than 3% more damage. Arguably, you can make a case that the 1.5% less damage to you is, you know, really good. But, man, it's just like once you play with Bloodletting, it's hard to play without it, because now you get to keep up 3 stacks. You're just going to have such an edge on damage with all those frenzy stacks. Albeit Familiar Predicaments is kind of useless, but I mean, it is what it is. I think this will get solved in 9.1, where they'll be adding more rows to the tree. We're actually getting 1 more endurance, 1 more finesse, and 1 more potency conduit slots. So, you know, you can definitely come down Dauntless and then put in Bloodletting in the potency conduit, assuming they don't bring out new conduits, which I don't think they will, but that'd be nice to see as well. So yeah, for Covenant you want Venthyr, and for Soulbinds you want Nadija, and then for your conduits we went over it. But again, you know, you can switch out this for here, like most hunters do, but I just really prefer Marksman Advantage. As far as legendaries go, there's just like there is with the Covenants, there's one choice that's above the rest, and I'm sure if you play a hunter you know by now. It's actually Craven's Straight Gem, and this reduces the Feign Death cooldown by 15 seconds, so it's 30 seconds baseline, so with this it'll be 15 second cooldown, and it removes most negative status effects from yourself, at least that's what the tooltip reads. And by most negative status effects from yourself, it basically means almost everything. Any magical dots, any bleeds, poisons, diseases, removes pretty much about everything. From my memory, the only thing it doesn't remove is Arms Warrior Mortal Strikes and Condemns. So that kind of sucks, but I guess they don't want to give us all the power, huh? Trying to remember if there's anything else it doesn't remove. I think it might not remove. There's one PvP talent from Ferals. I think it might be called Ferocious Wound, where it reduces their target's health by like 5%, stacks up to 2 times. I think it might not remove that as well. I can't quite remember, so maybe some testing to still do. But it's just really good for survivability. Like, hunters have like nothing for defensives. Like, man, we're like wet napkins when it comes to defensives. You know, we just got turtle and exhilaration on long cooldowns. So it's really, really strong just to be able to drop dead every 15 seconds and just, you know, just remove all dots from ourselves. Just really nice to have. It takes a lot of load off healers too when you're, you know, dropping Unstable Affliction and Vampiric Touch, because when you feign death with those dots, normally if your healer were to dispel them, they would get feared or horrified. But with this, it actually bypasses that entire effect. Just lets you just drop dead and just all the dots are gone. Which is why, you know, it's so strong with paired with survival tactics, because now you're getting a shield every time you're feign deathing, and you're feign deathing every 15 seconds to drop all those dots. So just really good. Like, you'll never be a kill target against, you know, Affliction Warlock, Shadow Priest, Boomkins. Yeah, Pharaohs don't want to mess with you because you're dropping their bleeds. Now that they're all playing Necrolord, you dropped all the rogue dots. Oh, it doesn't drop Shadowy Duel, by the way, in case you were wondering, unfortunately. Really good into other hunters as well, because you get to drop a Flayed Shot too, so now they're not getting kill shot procs. Another thing, now that it's on my mind, when you're playing against other hunters in arena, like 2v2 especially, like if you're with a healer and they're with a healer, try to Flayed Shot their pet, because, you know, they're going to be dropping dead and removing dots from themselves. But you know, if you hit their pet with Flayed Shot, you'll get maximum uptime. So just another thing to note while it was on my mind. Yeah, there's like no other legendary, not even close. As far as the stats go, you want Verse Mastery, which kind of leads me to stat priority. As far as stats are concerned, you want versatility, you know, the most versatility. So I'm sitting at almost 31%. That's with versatility enchants and 233 weapons, so almost 31%. Keep in mind, I don't have gems, just because I have not done Venari. I just can't be bothered to sit in the maw for a few weeks, honestly. But if you have that kind of strength, and more power to you. Go for, you know, 31. I'd say at most 32% versatility. Everything else into mastery. That's just for the sockets. As far as stat priority, I'm getting a little sidetracked. Sorry. As far as stat priority, sheer stat priority, here's how it goes. It goes versatility. It goes haste up to 13%. You want at least 13% haste. And I touched on this earlier, but this is because of the Flayed Shot dots. Now, when you have 13% haste, Flayed Shot will actually tick 1 extra time. Just because it scales with haste. So you want at least 13% haste. Now, the next breakpoint for it to tick another extra time, so 2 in total, you know, from 0 haste, is 23%. From my, you know, kind of estimating and just kind of speculation, going for 23% would cost too much of the other stats, mastery and crit. You can do it if you have Venari sockets unlocked and you just have sockets all across the board and you enchant into haste and you put on all haste gear. You can definitely do it, and you know, if that's how you feel like, you know, you can really get damage across, then go for it. But as far as I'm recommending for most of you, if not all of you, is to go verse, 13% haste, and then after you have 13% haste and you have, you know, at least 30% verse, put everything into mastery, because this is just sheer damage done by your pets. Now, everything here is done by your pets except Cobra Shot and Kill Shot. Barb Shot, you're not really casting for the damage, albeit it's doing damage, but it's mainly for the attack speed. And then your pets are casting Stomp with the talent every time you Barb Shot anyway, so it's kind of pet damage. So Kill Command, Barb Shot. So mastery is really, really good for that, and then your auto attacks from your pet too, and then your stomps like I mentioned, kill command, and yeah, just really good. Mastery is just really good to have. I kind of just neglect critical strike chance. The reason being, critical strike only serves one purpose for beast mastery, and that's sorry, beast mastery. That's wild call. It's your auto shot critical strike chance have a 20% chance to reset the cooldown of barb shot, which helps you keep those stacks up. But it's like a fraction of a fraction, because it says your auto shot critical strike chances. So if you're hitting auto shots once every 3 seconds, which is the attack speed on the bow, and you have 13%, or even if you have, let's say, 20% crit, I'm kind of, going on a tangent here, but I just want to, put weight on this, put emphasis on this, so, you guys are well informed. If you're hitting once every 3 seconds, and we'll go with 13%, 1 in, what is that, 1 in 6? 1 in 7, about, actually it's almost 1 in 8. Okay, we'll go with 1 in 7. If 1 in 7 of these are going to be a critical strike chance, right? If 1 in 7 of these are going to be a critical strike chance, just making sure I don't get lost, you're getting 1 crit every 21 seconds. And then it's actually a percent of a percent, because it's your auto shot critical strike chances have a 20% chance. So it's not every auto shot critical strike chance is going to reset the cooldown of barb shot. So you see what I'm getting at here. It's a really small percentage. So I don't even bother weighing in with critical strike chance. Now obviously, that's not critical strike chance's only purpose. You can, critical strike with abilities, but it's just, Beast Mastery Hunter isn't really a burst setup where you need the crit just to land big numbers. It's more, of a teetering type of spec where it just kind of eats away at the opponent over time. So you don't really need all that critical strike. I literally, if I could, I'd switch these out for mastery, but unfortunately these pieces don't come with mastery. So just kind of stuck with critical strike chance here, so gotta take it. But yeah, like I said, versatility up at least 30%. 13% haste makes or breaks the spec, because now you're getting 1 extra shot at getting kill shot from your flayed shot, and then the rest into mastery. Just to touch on chasing 23%, you could probably chase 23% if you put on one of these PvE rings. So if I were to put this here, 17, and then I think, yeah, 17, and then you were to, put on sockets, and even if you have a legendary that's haste instead of mastery, you could probably chase it, but your mastery would really start to dip, and kind of questionable. I'm sure as the seasons go on, patches come out where gear is giving you more secondary stats, just like the value of it, it'll be more than 68 haste, per piece, or 33 haste. You can really put in haste and chase 23% without sacrificing much mastery. So that remains to be seen, but the way it stands right now, you want versatility, 13% haste, everything else into mastery. As far as enchants go, I run versatility. If you're having trouble breaking 13%, then go ahead and put in haste enchants, but at the end of the day, you want versatility as much as possible. Think if there's any other enchants. I put in 30 stamina on my cloak rather than 20 stam and movement speed, just because we have movement speed buff already. So it's like, how much faster are you gonna go? Just 10 extra stamina just helps you become tankier. 30 stats on the chest. Reduced Hearthstone cooldown. I mean, that's a meme. And I know people run Sinful Revelation, or I think the other one's Celestial Guidance. I really like Infragreen Reflex Sight. It's it has a chance to give you 303 haste for 15 seconds, so you can get some nice windows. Obviously, it's all proc based, but if you're able to proc that, then you're able to proc this haste. If they stack, you're looking at like 50% haste, because you're getting 20 here, you're getting 10 there, you already have 13, so it's like 43% haste. And if you're getting a trinket proc, you're getting 173 primary stat as well. Also, to keep in mind, I run this over Ferocity, the badge. Not only for the haste, the 101 haste is really, really nice to have, because without this, then I have 10% haste, in which case I'd have to either have a legendary with haste or run a haste PvE ring, but then I just lose mastery and haste and versatility, so it's just too much to give up. So just if you're in the same position I am, where you have both of these, definitely run the insignia. And I was gonna say why I don't run this. Because the primary stat by 204, it's on use, which can line up nice because it's a 1 minute cooldown. But like I said, Beastmastery Hunter is all about throughput. You're just hitting, eating away at your enemies, just hitting small numbers over and over and over, and kind of, lining up a trinket slot, especially your trinket slot where you're losing so much haste for, just to try to line something up is kind of, in my opinion, kind of pointless. I just run with the throughput on the equip. So again, to each their own. You can run the badge, and then you can run the badge and then run the haste ring, the haste PvE ring, or craft a different legendary. If you already have one, that'd be nice too, where it's a haste versatility. Like, if you already have a 235 haste versatility and you don't want to go through the trouble of crafting a versatility mastery one, you can run that, where you already have haste. Make use of the fact that you have a haste one. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I want to touch on here while I'm here. So we went over stat priority, we went over enchants. Again, if you have an R gems, go in for mastery. While I'm here, I don't have a conquest emblem, but very rarely do I run emblem. The only actually time I ever run emblem is if I'm playing 2v2 and I run into a rogue mage, where I don't need 13% haste because it's not really about doing damage, it's more so about living against rogue mage. So emblem is really nice into rogue mage, just gives you that extra survivability, as well as into rogue mage. Not only do I run emblem, here I'll put it on for you guys, not only do I run emblem into rogue mage, I actually run spirit beast as well. So I'll dismiss and I'll pull that up. Just side note, side tip, if you're still watching, if you watched all the way this far. So just give you some, give you guys some advice here. So into rogue mage, I run emblem for the extra health. I run the spirit beast pet so that I have 7% extra health. In addition to 7% extra health, the spirit beast has a different specialization. It's actually tenacity, where it gives us a wall, a 3-minute cooldown, so you only get to use this once, but this is really good for if they both pop their damage. 20% reduced damage on top of Roar of Sacrifice, so they're not critting you. And then on top of Spirit Beasts actually have Spirit Mend. It's not much of a heal. I think he heals like... tooltips are a little misleading. I'll go ahead and I'll cast it on myself. Sorry. Where is this? Right there. There we go. So 2k. And then 1300 a tick. I think it ticks like 6 times. So it's 6 times 13. And then... yeah, it's actually almost healing for... actually, it's healing for a beefy 10k. So... Again, I only play that into Rogue Mage, where it's you get tons of extra survivability for running a Battle Masters, and then you run a Spirit Pet as well, where you get 7% extra health, you get a wall, 20% damage reduction, and you get a heal. So just something to note. While I'm on the topic of pets, when I'm not running a Spirit Beast against Rogue Mage, I'm running a Undead Raptor. Undeads are really good, undead pets, because they can't be polymorphed. So mages, they're kind of catching on when they know that pet sack is a thing, so they'll try to polymorph your pet before pressing combust. Although they've wised up even to that, and now they just Ring of Frost it, so it is what it is. But if you want an undead raptor, which I highly advise you get, you actually have to farm a book, which drops from any mob in Maldraxxus. So, where it's Shadowlands, Maldraxxus. Any mob in Maldraxxus has a chance to drop, a very slim chance to drop the book that lets you tame undeads. I got mine right here, right off the spearhead. There's a little quest mob, and he has like a 30-second respawn, so you can just kill him, over and over. Just put on something to watch, tab it out, and just kill him every 30 seconds. I think he has like a 1.25% chance to drop it, so definitely something to note, Get you an undead raptor, I didn't even name mine, just, leave it default, so hopefully they don't kill it, don't draw any attention to it. But yeah, so that's about it for stat priority, for legendary choices, and went over pet choices too. Raptors, almost always, and just Spirit Beast for when you're playing against Rogue Mage, in addition to the other things I mentioned. Okay, now I'm going to talk briefly about macros, and the reason I'm just going to talk briefly about this is because macros are very, let's see, very personal, I guess. You know, how comfortable you are with your keybinds, how comfortable you are with your class, your spec, you know. One thing for me that really helped me, like, you know, remember to use macros was actually changing my UI scale. As you can see, my action bars are kind of big. I changed my UI scale real big so I can kind of, you know, memorize my keybinds for my macros better. Kind of just got used to it, so I haven't changed it back. But like I said, there's macros sometimes can be very excessive and distract you from your gameplay, or sometimes they can just, you know, really be in clutch, come in handy. So it's important to try not to be excessive with them. Try to keep them to a minimal. There's a few that I run, and these are kind of the ones I highly advise you guys to run. Again, you can pause the screen, just copy the macro, and, you know, just make it your own, and wherever you see fit. So a few that I feel like are necessary are one for binding shot. This is so that you'll see this template a lot. It's so that you don't have to actually click. So bad example, I'll go with flare. Same command, cast cursor flare, and what this does is, normally if I go to cast flare, let's see, right here, there we go. Okay, so normally if I go to cast flare, you know, I get a radius circle that I have to left click to where to put it, you know, down. So if I want to put it down here, it's essentially 2 clicks. I'd have to click the keybind and then I have to click the screen. Obviously, I'm not not mouse clicking. I'd, you know, go ahead and do this. But with this macro that I just showed you guys, it's at cursor. It removes the circle that I have to press. So you guys see a circle when I don't have it macroed, but when I do have it macroed at cursor, boom. Just go ahead and I'll put it down. This can come in handy, especially for flare. Like if a rogue vanishes, you know, you don't have to go through that extra motion of clicking. You can just, boom, throw a flare down. I use that same template at cursor for a few things. I use it for flare. I use it for explosive trap. You know, if someone's standing on an edge and you really want to knock them off, you don't want to go through the motion of clicking. You don't have to be precise with it. It just has to be in the general vicinity. Boom, you know, throw an explosive trap. Now they go flying off, you know, without a second to spare. And I use that same template again for tar trap. Where is it? Right here, so that cursor tar trap. Sometimes, you know, you really need a slow. It can be obnoxious to go and click. Just boom, at cursor you throw it down and got a tar trap. I do not use that template for freezing trap. I have a macro here, but I actually don't use it. As you can see, it's binded here. Go ahead and take this off. I do not use one of those cursor macros because for freezing traps I like to be concise. So, you know, if something's like, let's see, or I'll try to freeze and trap that trap there. If I have a cursor macro, sometimes, you know, you're moving your mouse a little too fast, or, you know, like if you get death grip by a death knight, that's happened to me before, where it's like your cursor now shifts over here because you got death gripped. You know, obviously it'd be much more than just 2 yards that you got death grip, but you guys get the picture. So I like to be very concise with this. Just, you know, boom, very precise, not concise. So just be exact with that. So nice to have. I don't use this. And now, like, aside from those templates, I like to use this one macro. I use this template a lot as well. It's a harm, exists in a no harm template. So what this does is, any spell, this one for example is command pet, master's call in my case, based on my pet's school. What this does is, if there's a mouse over target, if a mouse over target exists, it'll cast that spell on your mouse over target. If there is no mouse over target, it'll cast it on yourself. You don't have to put your name, just put @player. So if my buddy, if my teammates, if my healer got root beamed by a balance druid and I need to freedom them, I press this keybind on their party frame. I actually don't look for them on the field. That's you know, something I used to do before. You can actually just mouse over their party frame and press the freedom button. So being that I don't have a mouse over, I'll press the keybind and it master's called myself because I did not have a keybind, or if I did not have a mouse over, sorry. So if it's a mouse over, it'll be on them. If there's no mouse over, it'll be on you. So those can get used to. Those sometimes can take some time getting used to. Maybe not for like freedom, but for like one for like concussive shot, I can get some time getting used to. Take some time getting used to because you're so used to, you know, pressing it on your target. But if you have like Gladiator or Losa, you can just mouse over their frame, arena frame here, and just press this button, and it'll concussive shot that target. So it's really good for, like, you know, if it's like double melee or even not double melee, caster melee, you're hitting the caster and the melee is going, you know, chomping up your healer and they need some breathing room. You don't have to drop your target. You can just put your mouse here, concussive shot, bring your mouse back to the playing field and just continue without having to switch targets. So I use that for concussive shot, this template. I use it for Master's Call. And I actually use it for, I do use it for Aurora Sacrifice as well. In addition, I have Spirit Men binded here. You know, obviously I'm not running a Spirit Beast all the time, but just good to have as well. Same concept. If there's a mouse over target, it'll cast it on them. If it's not, it'll cast it on me. Just trying to think if there's anything like make or break. As for damage macros, I run, I know I said I don't use badge, but just nice to have in the cast sequence by itself, just because these line up on cooldowns really well. So I have that, and then because I'm Orc, I put Blood Fury with Aspect of the Wild because they share a cooldown. But you know, if you're not Orc and you don't have a racial, you can just put you can just bind these separate really, because you know, you can monitor both cooldowns. I actually like to do that. I put Aspect of the Wild here separate with Bestial Wrath, so I can monitor the cooldown, because Bestial's Wrath cooldown is reduced with Barb Shot, so it's not always the same. Sometimes you get more procs, or sometimes, you know, you have to kite and you don't get to press Barb Shot. It's good to have them separate. I just, you know, see where my cooldowns line up. Oh, this is another important one. I run a mod sequence for Counter Shot. So what a mod macro is if you press the mod bind, it'll do a different command. So if I cast no mod counter shot, it'll, you know, if I just press the keybind, so mine is on F, if I just press F, it'll cast counter shot on my target. If I press the shift mod, which is shift F in this case, it'll cast counter shot on the focus. And then if I press alt F, which in this case is the mod, it'll cast it on the mouse over target. So this is good. I don't really use mouse over too much, but it comes in handy as well. Like, you know, if a Boomkin's convoking and now you're on the mage, for example, Boomkin mage, you're on the mage, and you have the healer on focus. Now you don't have shift or target, so you got to press alt F to convoke the mouse over, to stop the convoke on the mouse over. So I usually just use focus and no mod here. So it's no mod F, it'll cast it on the target. And shift F, it'll cast it on the focus target. And you always want to keep someone on focus target in an arena game, so you can see what's going on. Just trying to think if there's anything else. I do use this, stop casting Feign Death, and I put pet on assist just in case I need to camouflage out. It's good for drawing your pet back. Stop casting is more of a marksman thing for an aim shot, but just good to have anyway. You know, it doesn't do any harm. Oh, this is one I like to run as well. Same mouse over template for Scare Beast. This is good against feral druids, shaman ghost wolves. And if someone's Night Fae and they actually shift into their little fox form to run away, you can actually Scare Beast them because they turn to a beast in that form. So just good to have just over the mouse over. Same template as Concussive Shot, just mouse over. Oh, this one's nice for, I know I'm kind of, you know, I said not to, you know, put all these macros up because they distract you, but this one's the last one, I promise. Actually, let me not make a promise I can't keep. Okay, second to last. This is Cast Eagle Eye, and this is an exclamation point on the Eagle Eye. This is nice for, I did a little rated Battlegrounds this season. This is nice for that because what it does is, normally if you Eagle Eye, it only lets you Eagle Eye from your player's position. So I'll show you guys. Might as well, since I like talking about hunters so much. So where's it at? Eagle Eye, so I'll put it down here, Shift G. So now if I Eagle Eye down by that tree, down by that tree, let's say. Now I go to Eagle Eye again, it won't let me Eagle Eye from this Eagle Eye's position. It'll only let me Eagle Eye from my player's position. So you guys saw me dragging on Shift G, now it'll stop that. But with this macro, the Eagle Eye macro, I'll Eagle Eye that same tree. Now I can Eagle Eye from my Eagle Eye's position to a different tree, and I can literally just go down all the way. I can literally go to Narnia. It even starts to give me loading screens. That's how far I'm going. So it's a good macro to have when you're base sitting in rated Battlegrounds, or even in regular Battlegrounds. You know, just quality of life type of macro. You can give your team communications over Discord. Hey, they're sending 2 to Lumber Mill. Hey, they're sending 2 to, you know, Waterworks, because, you know, you have eyes where they don't. So just good to know. Whoops. And then lastly, I like to run Spider Sting macro. No surprise there. Just, you know, when you have Gladiator, Gladius up, and you have 3 targets, you don't have to drop your target just to silence the target. You can just put your mouse over, and you blanketed them, and you can just get back. Or even in the playing field, if you see, like, you know, the guy casting or like you're casting polymorph or whatever the heck he's casting, and you know you want to stop his next cast, you go ahead and blanket it. You don't even have to bring your mouse here. You can just do it in the playing field. So this is nice to have. Okay, I know I said that was the last one, but this is the last one, I promise. I run a Viper Sting macro for when I actually do use Viper Sting. I run it the same way I run the counter shot macro, where it's mod, and then it's focus for the mod. Just good, again, you know, just good so you don't have to click off the playing field. You don't have to stop doing damage. You just bring your mouse, click, or if you have a focus macro, which you should, you just press the shift bind. You get to, you know, keep doing damage. Yeah, just thinking if I forgot anything. That should be about it. This one, I like this macro a lot. I think if you play Classic, I think you can copy paste this exactly. There we go. I forgot this one. Okay, last one. Promise you guys, I know you guys are tired of hearing me talk. You're ready to go and play your BM Hunter, so I'm gonna let you get to it. Last one. /cast at cursor Dwarf Shadows Ventier. This is same concept. You don't have to click. You can just point your mouse and Dwarf Shadows there. And yeah, it's nice to have. You know, sometimes you're in a dire situation where you need to get away, so you just cast that. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I have for macros. And we'll wrap it up with arena comps. As a BM Hunter, your S tier comps for 3v3 are Jungle, which is Disc or Holy Priest, Feral Druid, preferably Necrolord, and BM Hunter. And then you have another S tier comp, which is Cupid Cleave, which is Rep Paladin, BM Hunter, and Disc or Holy Priest again. Although for that comp, Disc works really well, just for the one-shot capabilities of the Ret, and you get Dark Archangel with the Disc Priest. And then the sort of A tier would be 3 comps in A tier. I'd put KFC, which is a Warrior BM Hunter. I'd put and then that can be played with either Resto Druid or Sham. That has much more healer options. As well as Scatter Play, which is a Shadow Priest, BM Hunter, and then that's played with Resto Druid for sure. Really fun comp, just all the utility the Shadow Priest brings to the table. It's fun to play with, and then as well as in the A tier, I'd put Rogue Hunter, which is Thug Cleave. Just rogues have an insane toolkit, just lines up nicely with the throughput of BM Hunters. And then as far as 2v2 is concerned, the best 2s comp in the game, in my opinion, is Holy Priest BM Hunter. You can try it with Disc. Disc does go and in the higher ratings, you know, it's usually a mana and cooldown game, so I'd recommend playing with Holy Priest. And then Resto Druid is fun to play with too, just because they have a spammable CC with Cyclone. Personally, I don't like playing with Resto Druids, but every time I face Resto Druid Hunter, I end up losing, so I guess that says something about Holy Priest BM Hunter. But if you want to run double DPS in 2s, you can definitely play with the Feral. You can play with the Ret too. I think you'd have more success with the Feral Hunter. Just keep in mind, for playing double DPS, that's like upper echelon. You really have to be very, very cognizant of what's going on in the arena, you know? You have to be on top of everything, because if you make any mistakes with double DPS in high-rated arena, man, it's going to be rough to recover, so just keep that in mind. Personally, I think Holy Priest BM Hunter is just such a good comp. You can just run that, you know, all the way to the top of the ladder, so hopefully I'll see you guys there with that one. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys. So, you know, again, I'll leave timestamps down below in the description. If not, in the description of the comments below, and I'll just pin the comment. So we went over everything, guys. Beast Mastery Hunters are really strong in 9.0.5. We covered talents, PvP talents, covenants, conduits, legendaries, macros, your pets, covered compositions, covered stat priorities, covered the intricacies of, you know, what pieces of gear you can run. Gave you guys some tips here and there on what to play and what certain spells play into certain classes. And hopefully you guys were able to take a thing or two away from this. Like I said, I'm very accessible, so go ahead and leave a comment down below if you have any suggestions, any thoughts, questions. I'll leave my Discord in the description. Again, if not in the description, I'll leave it on the pinned comment. Feel free to reach out to me, any hunter questions. Just really excited to bring in content for you guys. Oh, suggestions as well. Let me know what you guys want to see. Currently I'm 2402 and 2s. I know my 3s tanked a lot. Just been playing with friends. I haven't really played. I know I have 1,000 games played, but I haven't really played 3s seriously just yet. So can definitely give you guys some good high quality 2s gameplay. Let me know if you guys want commentary on it, play into certain comps. I know Rogue Mage is really popular to play into. A lot of hunters ask me about that, so definitely can give you guys some commentary on certain specs, on certain classes, on certain comps and 2s for sure. But yeah, again, any types of suggestions you guys want to see. World, PvP, Battlegrounds, you want base hitting tips and rated Battlegrounds, just let me know. I'm here to serve you guys. Hopefully, get to see more BM Hunters on the ladders, especially at the top of the ladders, seeing them represented in Arena World Championships. So yeah, just let me know, guys. Thank you all for watching if you made it this far. I really appreciate the support. Man, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, reach out to me in game, reach out to me in Discord. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.